When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. It is important to view knowledge as sort of a semantic tree. Make sure you understand the fundamental principles, the trunk and big branches, before you get into the leaves details, or there is nothing for them to hang on to. My proceeds from the PayPal acquisition were $180 million. I put $100 million in SpaceX, $70 million in Tesla, and $10 million in Solar City. I had to borrow money for rent. You should take the approach that you're wrong. Your goal is to be less wrong. You get paid in direct proportion to the difficulty of problems you solve. I think it's very important to have a feedback loop where you're constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing it better. It is possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary. I think it would be great to be born on Earth and die on Mars. Just hopefully not at the point of impact. Constantly seek criticism. A well thought out critique of whatever you're doing is as valuable as gold. No, I don't ever give up. I'd have to be dead or completely incapacitated. I'm not trying to be anyone's savior. I'm just trying to think about the future and not be sad. If you need inspiration, don't do it. The first step is to establish that something is possible, then probability will occur. I came to the conclusion that we should aspire to increase the scope and scale of human consciousness in order to better understand what questions to ask. Really, the only thing that makes sense is to strive for greater collective enlightenment. Any product that needs a manual to work is broken. The idea of lying on a beach as my main thing just sounds like the worst. It sounds horrible to me. I would go bonkers. I would have to be on serious drugs. I'd be super duper bored. I like high intensity. I take the position that I'm always to some degree wrong, and the aspiration is to be less wrong. One of the really tough things is figuring out what questions to ask. Once you figure out the question, then the answer is relatively easy. Constantly think about how you could be doing things better. One of the biggest mistakes we made was trying to automate things that are super easy for a person to do, but super hard for a robot to do. They were building a Ferrari for every launch when it was possible that a Honda Accord might do the trick. You need to live in a dome initially, but over time you could terraform Mars to look like Earth, and eventually walk around outside without anything on, so it's a fixer-upper of a planet. Every person in your company is a vector. Your progress is determined by the sum of all vectors. I would like to die on Mars, just not on impact. I could go and buy one of the islands in the Bahamas and turn it into my personal fiefdom, but I am much more interested in trying to build and create a new company. If you get up in the morning and think the future is going to be better, it is a bright day. Otherwise, It's not. When Henry Ford made cheap, reliable cars, people said, "Nah, what's wrong with a horse?" That was a huge bet he made, and it worked. Persistence is very important. You should not give up unless you are forced to give up. It's okay to have your eggs in one basket, as long as you control what happens to that basket. We're going to make it happen. As God is my bloody witness, I'm hell-bent on making it work. We hope for your support in the form of likes and comments. Thank you for watching.